This is going to be about the author, Ross MacDonald. There are those, and they are many, with good credentials who think that Kenneth Millar, who wrote under the name of Ross MacDonald, was the finest writer of mystery novels in the last century. I don't know about that. I do know that when a pal of mine and I were about to go on a road trip long ago, I would go into a bookstore and buy a paperback book by Ross MacDonald, and I would read it aloud as we drove, stopping to repeat a passage when the imagery clicked into place and perfectly encapsulated the overly refined and putrefying culture of Southern California. Trying to recapture that pleasure, an ever-risky attempt, I got a copy of Sleeping Beauty from the library by Ross MacDonald. It was certainly not a fairy tale. I'm sure the author wanted the reader to take note of that. However, it is true that the heroine does survive and is slumbering, and that the hero, Detective Archer, does, oddly, I thought, touch her forehead with his lips as if to awaken her. The book surprised me in a number of ways. I did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But then I'm turning into a grumpy old man, very hard to please. It did not strike me as being hard-boiled in any way. Archer is a comparative softy, and he doesn't run into any mugs. The people in the book are thoroughly spoiled, and they solve their problems badly, and they come unwound when their pretty, soft new life is smashed by the forceful re-entry of the old, unresolved errors. These people try to change their life the way other people change their clothes for different occasions, and it doesn't work. It's a slow-moving book with a very complicated, intricately enmeshed plot that is unspooled a drop at a time in one conversation after another. It may not be hard-boiled, but it is a nasty trudge through hell. It is a bleak and cheerless world, one in which a sparkling ocean is covered by a dark, suffocating oil slick. Like the ocean, the world might have been decent once, but now it is trashed. All of the peripheral people are losers or spent. All of the rich people are ruined in some lasting way, and the ones who are not rich are ruined by the ones who are. A very few people, mostly doctors, see this world for what it is, and that corrosive vision destroys them. The book is one long, insistent, humorless downbeat. Archer does get laid, but that is not a very happy occasion. He beds the wife of a suspect, herself a suspect, and it's like it didn't happen, but he makes a point of saying that he will never forget her. That snapshot imagery is there, and all of it is about the end of something, or imprisonment of some kind, casualties and captives, and emptiness. He sees a cliffside looking like sand in an hourglass that has run out. He felt as if I was lost in the catacombs under a city where no one could be trusted or believed. Archer didn't feel like a detective to me. He was more of a social psychiatrist, a minister, an arbitrator, a domestic counselor. Surprising, to me, he's frequently a fast man with a platitude. He thinks, I was mobile and unencumbered, young enough to go where I had never been, and clever enough to do new things when I got there. But there's a sense that he's stuck in amber like all the others, and he's not going anywhere. And he thinks, I caught myself wishing that we could be like the birds and move through nature without hurting it or ourselves. I would call this a rather naive, romantic, sentimental, and Pooh-like notion of birds and wildlife. Yes, nature is beautiful, but nature is also terribly cruel. Archer sees himself as a thief-catcher, corpse-finder, ear for anyone. He doesn't so much solve the case as he sticks with it until it plays itself out. The plot is so intertwined and the present is such a verbatim copy of the past that it is either profound in an inexplicable way or just plain silly, and I'm not sure which I think it is. MacDonald and his wife are famous for their psychological twisters. Their daughter Linda was a twister too. She had trouble fitting in and was drinking. When she was 16, they gave her a car. She got drunk one night, hit several pedestrians, crashed into another car. She killed a 13-year-old boy. She was found guilty, I'm not sure of the exact charge, and in a decision that attracted a lot of attention, was put on probation. In college, she disappeared for over a week and turned up in Las Vegas. She died in her sleep, it is said, at the age of 31. Cause of death unknown to me. I don't read writers' lives into their books, but it's tough not to do that with this one. There's something very creepy, twisted, and sad in this pattern, and it resurfaces in the books, in all of those ruined lives.